them crab trees?
My predecessor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, those crab trees have been in Lassen County forever. They're out at Terminal everywhere.
Oh, that last, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna be nice, believe it or not. I asked him if he had any relatives around here, you know, and he said, I don't have any relatives around here. And
No,
I
yeah,
said,
you really
I
like
said,
to hear
no
that, huh?
crab trees, and he said, no, there's no crab trees here. I said, well, there's a lot of them used to be here, and he said, no, related to me.
That he was very adamant to me too that none of the crab trees in Lassen County were his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made that very clear to me as well.
So then Mr. Stone, I thought, well, I've shed enough, so I'll go, and Mr. Stone picked it up, and he said, well, I'm sure glad to know you're a little bit religious. I don't know where he got it.
Okay. Did he see you in the back praying one day?
Our conversation had nothing to do with it.
Who knows?
Then I had to be nasty.
Oh, excuse me.
Hi, Richard.
Oh, to get papers to. Today's my sister's birthday.
It's my mother-in-law's birthday.
Is it?
It's 96.
96. Wow.
We're celebrating
Good morning.
again. And my sister Ann.
Hello. My sister's 60 and she's retiring.
Nice.
And they're going to New Zealand for 2 months.
Corner.
I know.
New Zealand.
Yeah. It'll be fall.
No, they didn't.
Any green grass?
Someday they'll be someday.
Maybe get a few trees. Maybe get a few.
We're down my nerves.
She had like one.
Hey,
Hey, your wife won something on the radio this morning.
yeah.
Did she
about
call
six- Yeah, so a bunch of people called her, she finally did, yeah,
Oh.
she did, just a chance for an electric bill. Don't want to pay the electric bill.
Oh,
For a
okay.
year?
So yeah.
Pump bill?
We're taking one into the summer.
I just heard you say.
Yeah, they're about 10,000 a month, so we're taking one.
I think he's scaling the system.
Oh, that's gonna stop that game.
Of course I do.
Right, but that's just a put
I
in.
doubt if he'll get picked.
Okay.
Yeah, put in.
I'd throw you out if I saw that big of a
Oh
dollar.
man, just stay quiet.
Sure they have it.
Look at you.
They have different checks in the drum.
Yeah.
Love you. But they decided to
Okay.
do, they haven't.
Okay. I did not, because Terry came over last night. Yeah. So we actually went to the Italy for dinner. And we walked there. Yeah, because he lost his ground, so they got lost this morning. So I did not do any work last night. I did have a class tomorrow night. It is awesome. Hey, it's a compromise.
So where do you live? Have a lift?
Kathleen made a good point too.
No, I can grab it, blow out the
Today at least.
Oh, so you flood irrigate.
I can grab it, blow it with my flood, or I put it through sprinkler, then I gotta put it.
Okay.
I'm gonna get along with you, just grab it.
Probably.
If it's in a good location, I can go down. Go
Is there
ahead.
any water in there at all?
Maybe.
Hey, Mark.
Maybe.
Good morning.
Good. How's it going?
Not enough to irrigate, just, stop one, so.
Good morning.
No, no. They got a little snow. What was it?
Okay.
So like we went to the book yesterday, it was that much snow everywhere. It'll be gone and come home.
Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, thanks.
Perfect.
Morning, Richard.
Morning.
How's it going?
Good.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll start off with public comment. Okay. Richard, can you announce items to be discussed in closed session?
Be happy to. The board is going to convene in closed session for a conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, Stone versus County of Lassen, case number 56493, Superior Court of California, County of Lassen. Also a conference with legal counsel, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9, one case. For an employee performance evaluation, County Counsel Retta Vanderploeg, and for a report on claims.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll go into closed session.
Please.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Off with the pledge. Supervisor Kyle, with the honor.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we pray this day for your ever-enduring guidance. We ask you, cloak us in wisdom and fortitude, that we may disperse our knowledge and facts intelligently among all humanity of whom we serve. Amen. Okay, Richard, can you please announce the items discussed in closed session?
Yes, the board met in closed session for a conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9, Stone versus County of Lassen, case number 56493, Superior Court, California, County of Lassen. There was no reportable action. The board also met to review claims, no reportable action. The board is continuing closed session until the conclusion of the open session meeting for the purpose of employee performance evaluation, County Counsel Retta Vanderploeg, and conference with legal counsel, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision B of Government Code Section 54956.9, one case.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item B2, agenda approval, additions, and or deletions. Anybody would like to comment on this item?
One thing on this, it wasn't brought up before our last meeting last time, and that was that sad incident that happened in Modoc County, so I don't know if you ever seen something with Modoc County with the Indian deal that they had up there with I don't know how to go about that.
Okay,
Further than that.
maybe we want to work on that.
Policy or something. Terrible.
So with that, looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes. That brings us on to B3, public comment. Before we begin public comment, I just feel it's necessary, not for myself, but for the benefit of my constituents, to support me in the last election, as well as for the benefit of the community countywide I represent on the numerous committees I serve on. I'm going to quickly address something that was unfortunately made big news in last week's newspaper for whatever reason, regarding my eligibility. For some reason, this becomes a point of contention, and some people just can't get over the fact that we have more than one residence. So we do have two homes, which, and one of them is outside of my district. It's never been a secret. It was mentioned in my campaign, and especially after I won my seat. And it's true that in order for my kids to compete and follow their dreams in sports, and me to follow my dreams and serve the county that for 16 years I've called home and I'm deeply committed to, we do live somewhat of a split life. And it's not easy, it's difficult, but we do it. So they're doing what they want to do, and for the next 9.5 months, here I'll continue what I set out to do. My 3-year-old, all he's known his whole life is there's mommy's house and there's daddy's house, and sometimes it's a little embarrassing at the grocery store when they'll say, Dad, when we go into mommy's house? And so anyhow, that's how it is. This June it'll be 16 years that I've lived here in Milford, and I've enjoyed almost every minute of it. And this has been home. This is where my kids have grown up, where they've learned how to ride their bicycles, their motorcycles. They've learned how to ski on the trails across the road. And again, I think it's unfortunate that it was portrayed how it was, but it is what it is. So I don't want this to be an ongoing distraction. And when I'm done here, this is going to be the last of it. So we're going to spend time in the boardroom here. The issue of school was brought up. My kids have went to Janesville during the years, several different grades. Most recently, last year, my son was enrolled in Janesville school. That years they've homeschooled. We have a unique situation with our life in sports and what we do, so we're not the typical. I think my commitment to Lassen County speaks volumes about where my home is. For 14 years, I've dedicated myself. I've dedicated, my time, money, energies to promoting the county and being the best citizen I know how to be. And it's been a great learning and growing and challenging experience. But that speaks volumes about where Larry Wassup lives. Approximately 1 month ago, we sold a portion of our property, the one where I've enjoyed living for 16 years, and I'm currently living in a temporary residence. I knew this would be an issue, so I looked into it beforehand, and I like to refer to County Council that reads from the Secretary of State that pertains to my situation. There's a paragraph.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. The Secretary of State website does state your voter registration record should always reflect your current residence. However, if you've moved from your home into a temporary residence, you can continue to use your prior permanent residence where you are registered to vote as your address for the purpose of voting. And his voter registration is his qualification for being a supervisor in his district. So that address is spot on what Mr. Wassup is going through.
Thank you. And I'm residing outside of my district, and there seems to be a provision for that, and that's that. It's not a secret, and I've made it public, and that's the situation. Again, it was an unfortunate decision, I think, on the part of the, to try to make this into a story that it isn't. I don't see, it doesn't serve anybody's best purpose, but. So, with that said, I know my biggest challenge lays ahead. For the first time in several years, my wife and I are going to be forced to live in the same house. Every night. Night after night. So we'll see how that goes. I look forward to the next 9.5 months to continue the work that I've started some 3 years ago, working with the board. I'm enjoying it, and I look forward to pressing forward, being a part of this year's budget, being a part of the swimming pool, and being a part of all the committees I serve on. So thank you for the time I've taken. And so with that, I'd like to move on to the rest of the public comment. Hi, Violet?
Oh, I'm probably speaking out of turn again, but I do that all the time. I appreciate you being here, and I think when you came here, you tried to help this poor old county. And from what I've heard and seen of the people that's been here for years, they haven't done much for it. And they're still trying to condemn the board and everybody else and our county people. And I think you've done a good job, and there's been a lot of people in Susanville that didn't even live here, but they work in the city. So I've never figured that one out either. And then when the vice president's son told the sheriff back there in Delaware, the sheriff has no right because there's no county. Said you can't even write out a parking ticket. And I want to know if we have a county. And I can't get anybody to give any answer. And I want to know when they shot Lincoln, if they got rid of the Constitution. Because they said the only law he could make that was legal was martial law. And that's why the gold fringe is on the flag. And if the county, and I didn't know then that the county, or California walked out with the South. So I want to know who put our Congress in, who they were, and where the hell they are today. Thank you.
Thank you, Violet. Appreciate the kind words. Is there anyone else who would like to speak under public comment? You could speak now, or if you're waiting for a certain item on the agenda, you could talk at that time. All right, Jean Hodge.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm Jean Hodge, Susanville, and I'd like to thank you, Larry, for your service. I know it's been hard at times for you and your family, but we really appreciate what you've done for the people, not just the people of District 3, because we've seen you help lots of people from throughout the county. The good news I have today is that I've spoken to 2 of the city council members who would love to share their city council chambers with the Board of Supervisors if you do in fact decide not to press ahead with your $500,000 new chambers renovation project. So they would like, however, for you to chip in a little bit of the media and the sound equipment money, $15,000, and they would probably charge you just a nominal fee for using that space, and that would help out the city as well. So that's good news. So there's an alternative if you decide not to spend the money.
Thank you. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else under public comment? Let's take up unagendized board reports quickly. We'll start off with Supervisor Hammond.
With the groundwater issues that are facing South County, I would like to, I don't have, and Richard, this is kind of directed to you, I don't have somebody on the groundwater committee there. I know that they're trying to take water out of Dry Valley now, and I'd like our county to band together to protect our water assets, and I would really like you to take lead in that.
Chairman, yeah, the last coordination council meeting, one of our duties there is to put together a land use plan, which is our book to go for our policy for any coordination items we have with the government. And we just don't have the staff or anybody to put it together, and basically we decide we're gonna need some help from the county staff to put that policy book together. So, something we need to be looking at, thinking about, through Maureen's office, would be, get some help with that together.
I've got a recommendation coming next week for that.
Supervisor Chapman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things. Yesterday, Aaron and I sat in on the Transportation Commission and took care of that. We realized you couldn't be there. Mr. Wilson was also absent, so we had a kind of a bare quorum. Covered a lot of territory, but one of the big issues that we discussed was the job description for the vacant transportation planner position. And I think the commission, it was referred back to them after it was brought to us by county staff. And the issue that I think that was paramount, at least in my remarks, and I think the commission felt the same, that this position is funded primarily or fully from the transportation program. It's not really a county position, it's a transportation commission position. And even though we utilize the county as a host agency to handle personnel, payroll, and those functions, in the past, the position has, in some respects, is hired by the Director of Public Works and basically works under the direction of the Director of Public Works. But the commission, I think, being a joint body of the city and county, made it clear to the executive director, who is also the Public Works Director of the county, that we want to see this position, utilized to function as a staff position for the commission, not a staff position for the county. So that was probably the biggest part of the discussion that took place. Other than that, I just wanted to share with the board last weekend, I had the opportunity to attend the Best of Broadway production that's currently going on down at the Veterans Memorial Hall. We have some time this weekend. In fact, Larry, you might want to bring some of your family up there. It's an over-the-top terrific show. There's not a number in it that would not disappoint you. The hall looks really good with the new chairs that were purchased. It's been in the budget for over 2 years. They finally were brought to bear. Mr. Heimgartner got it all squared away, so they have 320 new chairs, very comfortable chairs. And I commend you to check them out, and maybe when we have our board room set up, those kind of chairs could also be utilized in that setting as well. But anyway, it was just a great show, and I highly recommend it to the board members. Friday night at 7 o'clock, they have a matinee on Saturday at 2 o'clock, and another Saturday night show at 7 o'clock. 2 hours that you will not be disappointed.
Thank you. Thanks for the promotion on that too. Yeah, that's
Yeah, the Vets Hall is really getting the spotlight. The outside paint really makes it attractive. We've got 2 projects that we want to see done. One of the probably our most serious need is getting some bathrooms established on the main floor. We make it a lot better for the use of the hall. But those projects and the entrance project is both of them are being pursued vigorously by the task force working under the direction of the county and the department. So good things are happening down there.
Thanks. Aaron?
Yeah, I attended the transportation meeting yesterday with Jim, and probably the only thing that I would add to Jim's account is that maybe in as early as June, we can possibly see some new buses here in the city. A different style, it's much more handicap accessible. It's a low platform, so anyway, that'd be very good for those folks. And then Tom, as far as your question to Richard, I would recommend Paul Herman, your planning commissioner. He's very well in tune on the water issues, so he might be a good resource for us as well. In contact with him.
Thank
Other
you.
than that, that's all I have.
Thanks. Thank you. Okay, I attended the last Fair Board meeting, and there was a couple of interesting items I'd like to talk about. One, there's going to be another fundraiser for Save the Music during the fair. It's going to be labeled under the Bandwagon Festival. A.R. Danes from Janesville School is doing it, yeah. So he gave a presentation, and actually, I'd like to pay the booth for them out of my discretionary funds. It would be $250. They asked that I pay directly to the fair, but just earmark it, the Save the Music Bandwagon Festival space rental. And there was another group there pitching their idea for basically the whole month of October. They're going to have a big haunted house set up in the parking area, and one of the walk-through deals, and they had a whole, really nice, comprehensive plans of it all. So looked pretty good. As Supervisor Powell mentioned, we attended the last coordination council, and again, the thing just continues to get stronger and stronger with this. And BLM Representative Ken Cullum even commented was that he says it's the first time really ever that we have a forum like on a regular basis for all the parties to get together and address any upcoming issues or talk about ongoing issues. Really appreciative of the people from the Plymouth Forest that make the trip out for every meeting. It's quite a distance, and sometimes we go on till 9 o'clock in the evenings, and they have a long trek back home. So really appreciative of their efforts. One of the topics we talked about was the Wildcat fire restoration and for reduction of fuels in the area. That's, as a result of that meeting, we were able to get in our comment letter quickly at the last meeting to have a place at the table on that. Also have attended, since our last agendized reports, I've attended 2 meetings with the Honey Lake Valley Recreation Facility with a pool. Basically, both of those meetings, the focus has primarily been on the acquisition of the new site at Diamond View. Things are moving along steadily, and happy with the progress, and appreciate being a part of it. And that's my report. So, okay. Let's quickly take up item G, the consent calendar. Firstly, is there any items that anybody would like to remove for further discussion? Any public comment on this item? If not, we'll bring it back.
Can we ask item G6 to be off for brief discussion? I had a question on that one.
G6, okay. G6, so we'll look for a motion for the balance of the calendar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimous. Okay, we'll take up item G6. I believe that's Maury.
Yes.
Would he like to?
Well, it actually, his personnel, or maybe Richard's here, Richard could actually address it. It had to do with, when I was reading it, so if I can find my notes, had to do with the education and experience. It's on the 4th page in at the top under education and experience. And it talked about a baccalaureate degree, advanced degree, and it talks about several fields or closely related field, job-related construction, building, code administration, and forestry be substituted on a year-for-year basis. So, I mean, I would assume that if you have a 4-year degree that you require or want, you would substitute 4 years, I guess, then in the private sector to construction field or whatever to offset being able to do that. And, I could see that maybe being utilized when it comes to, the regular inspectors that we may have hired and stuff, but I really have a concern about dropping the threshold for somebody who aspires to be the chief building official. And I, whether it's a year for year, I mean, if you're going to do that, make it something more strenuous, because it basically makes irrelevant having the need. You might as well just scrub and not even have an education, bachelor's degree or whatever as a prerequisite.
To address your question, of course, these are minimum qualifications, and naturally, the best qualified candidate would be hired. The thought being there that if someone was in a administration enforcement position for 4 years, that would roughly equate to having the degree.
Well, I like to believe that what you say is so, but I would say the track record and experience hasn't always supported that. And I think because of that, we find ourselves in more in one way, not only just in this department, but across the spectrum of departments that could be affected. So I really think we need to think about the significance of that kind of a, easy trade out, you know. For every, year of a degree, maybe require 2 or 3 years. I mean, make it so that it's somebody who's been in the field, for, maybe has a, 25 years experience in construction, management and construction. I mean, I can buy that in lieu of somebody with a 4-year degree, but to give somebody status that they've got it all down after 4 years, because you easily trade it out year for year, I just really don't see that as being in our best interest.
Well, and in a perfect world, I don't disagree with you, but as we've seen from a lot of recruitments recently, when we elevate the requirements, we really shrink the pool of applicants.
Yeah.
It is a delicate balance.
If that's the case, then I would suggest, instead of saying that's the requirement and then provide the waiver saying, that we prefer somebody with a minimum of 4 years in construction experience, bachelor's is preferred, but obviously isn't that important. I mean, say something like that, and I think that's more truthful. But I just, the way it's worded there, I don't buy it.
I don't mind tinkering with it and getting it right, because that's what it's all about right now. But one thing I do kind of hang the hat on is, we tried to make this more precise, not less precise. And one of the things is when it talks about certifications, it requires that you have the building official certification, which is, in past language, it said appropriate certifications, and that allowed for interpretation and not necessarily the best qualified. So, what we were thinking when we tinkered with this is that really kind of puts the onus on the applicant to provide proof that they are a certified building official. So together with the degree, may not have 20 years of experience, but if you're at that level and you've passed those certifications, you're going to know what you're talking about.
Well, that being it is, I mean, that's fine, I appreciate that, but I think if you're gonna state for it, I just say, make it be bachelor's or advanced degree preferred, but, we're going to, somebody with a minimum of 4 years of experience in the construction field, along with that certification, good to go, but, be straightforward. Now, that way, instead of, masquerading as though we aspire to, have all of our top people be people who possess advanced degrees. I mean, you're not accomplishing that.
I'm willing to rewrite it.
Yeah, I would say if you're gonna use that, is strive for somebody who has a minimum of 4 years of construction experience. A bachelor's degree is preferred, but, it's not necessary. As long as they've got the certification that you're talking about. That part of it is we can't compromise.
We could just add, if it's the pleasure of the board, we could just add preferred to the end of that.
Yeah, just
clause.
Just say bachelor's degree or advanced degree preferred with a major in, and then just insert the word preferred in there between degree and with, and.
Is that the direction of that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Should we bring it back, or can we?
I think we can approve it with that change if the board desires.
Okay, before we take action, is there any public comment on this matter?
Yes.
Iona McCain?
Yes, Iona McCain. Can I ask the building, Maury Anderson a question?
Sure.
What does it mean to be board official certification?
There's several different kind of certifications you can have through what is now the ICC, the International Code Council, and that's basically the leader in certifications. One of the certifications is actually a certified building official, which is sort of one of the more challenging certifications to have, and that's what we're asking any applicant to.
So what does that consist of? I mean, does that mean that you just pass a test?
Yes.
Or do you work with somebody in construction?
You pass a
Or you're a
test.
supervisor in construction?
And there might be components of years in the field, but I can't shoot from the hip right now and answer that, but it's essentially an exam.
Without experience in the construction?
I can't answer that right now. I'd have to go refer to the testing requirements.
And when you ask that the person have a Bachelor of Arts or master's degree or whatever it is, does it be in any other field besides?
Related
Like it
field.
could be in just simply not in building
Now that
construction?
it's preferred, but it's a related field, so a basket weaving bachelor's of art might not be similar
Or
enough.
psychology?
I don't know what that means.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other public comment on this matter? We'll bring it back to the board for action.
Well, I would move approval. I think it's a much more improvement over what we have existing, and I think it's something we fine tune as we move forward. I think they've done a good job, so I move approval.
Give it a second.
Second.
Under discussion, I have a question for Iona. You mentioned this psychology. Was there something in here did you
No,
ever
I
think
was-
about some of that?
What I was trying to get at, Chairman, is if people are going to apply for certain positions, that they actually have experience in that particular position. So if you're gonna be a building inspector, then you should have some experience, whether you're a general contractor, or you're a supervisor, or you have some background. The psychology thing was simply, would you hire somebody that is not trained in that field? But because they have a degree, a master's degree or whatever, then you say, well, they've been to college, then therefore you were hired. Whether you have experience in that particular field or not,
Okay.
that's all.
Okay, I thought I might have missed something when I was going through there when you said that, but okay, that's good. It's fine.
Thank you.
Okay.